Hey everybody on YouTube, this is Kyle Snyder once again for my second episode of Kyle Review Stuff, the show where I pretty much review anything, whether it be movies, video games, books, anime, you name it. I'll review pretty much anything in this show. And just as a reminder, this episode is brought to you by Project Deathcat, now available on Amazon.com for just 99 cents. If you're into cop stories and if you're into sci-fi, then this is the story for you, because it's packed with a lot of action. But speaking of ebooks, this second episode of Kyle Review Stuff, I've decided to review an ebook that I recently completed reading, and it happens to be written by a popular NFL quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. It's called Coming Back Stronger by Drew Brees. And this story, it's an autobiography of Drew Brees. It basically tells his story of his journey in the NFL and even before the NFL. You know, through his football journey through high school, through college, through the NFL. And throughout the story, you know, he also tells about some injuries he had. For example, during his high school career while playing in Texas, he suffered a torn ACL, in which was one of his first major injuries, in which he had to learn basically how to come back from a major injury. And he managed to do so, but as a result of the injury, there were many recruiters of colleges that were hesitant to ask him to come to their college. Eventually, Drew Brees managed to play at a well-known college at Purdue University, which happens to be located in Lafayette, Indiana. And by the way, I have been in Lafayette, Indiana. Very nice place in Indiana to visit. I recommend those of you in Indiana who haven't been there, you've got to visit it. It's quite a good place to be at. And throughout his college career, he meets the love of his life, Brittany. You know, they end up getting married and all that. And there's also talks about where he might wind up in the NFL. Is he going to be a first-round pick? Is he going to be a second-round pick? Is he going to be a third-round pick? As we all know, in the 2001 draft, he ends up going to the San Diego Chargers. And you know, it basically molds the beginning of his NFL career, where he played for the Chargers from 2001 to 2005. You know, the last two seasons, basically there was a quarterback controversy between him and Phillip Rivers, in which the very last game that he ever played with the Chargers, he ended up suffering a very major shoulder injury that would have ended most quarterbacks' careers. And you know, the surgery that he had afterwards was successful, and afterwards he became a free agent. The Chargers were offering him, you know, another contract, but Drew Brees, of course, saw that the offer that the Chargers were offering was not one that displayed a lot of confidence, so he decided to explore other teams, and there were two teams that really wanted him: the New Orleans Saints and the Miami Dolphins. And then the interesting part of this is that you know, he visited both teams, and both teams had contrasting views of him. You know, the New Orleans Saints, of course, treated him like he was one of their family members, while the Miami Dolphins, on the other hand, although they may have been the more promising team to go to, they treated him like a science experiment. You know, they did some prodding, they did some experiments on how his shoulder was progressing, and overall Drew Brees decided to go to the New Orleans Saints because he felt more welcome there, even though most people would have turned New Orleans away because of the recent Hurricane Katrina disaster that had happened there, but it didn't deter Drew Brees there. He just felt that he needed to be there, and it was the right move for Drew Brees to make. It was one that really helped him eventually become a Super Bowl champion. It may have taken him 4 years with the New Orleans Saints to finally win a Super Bowl, but he finally did it. And throughout the book, coming back stronger, it basically describes that even though there may be some times when we may feel like we're down and out, we can still come back from adversity. We can still come back from hardships and come back even stronger. And I feel that this is a story, that this book, this autobiography, is one that every NFL fan and pretty much everyone in general needs to read, because there are a lot of good messages that Drew Brees tells us. So, and I felt that this was one of the absolute best autobiographies that I've ever read. And I have read some autobiographies in my life, I mean, from other sports stars, but the one that Drew Brees wrote, I felt it was the best. I give it a 10 out of 10. For those of you who need inspiration, for those of you who are looking for a way out to get through these hard times, you need to look no further than Drew Brees' book, Coming Back Stronger. It is a must-read, in my opinion. I mean, even if you're not a Saints fan, I mean, Drew Brees, in my opinion, you know, he's not only a great quarterback, he's just a great human being. I mean, I can't imagine what the NFL would be like without Drew Brees. So that's my review of Coming Back Stronger. The next ebook I plan to review is going to be Ice Claw by Liz Eller. So I should be done with that pretty soon, and you know, although it may not be the very next episode of Kyle Review Stuff that I'm planning to do, it's guaranteed to be the next ebook that I'm going to review on this show. So thank you very much for watching, and remember, if you need inspiration, read Coming Back Stronger by Drew Brees. I guarantee you it will help you get through a lot of hardships in your life. Thank you very much for watching.